tombstone. Okay, so I'm searching for a Frank, and it's a pretty big area here. I guess it's not that big of a cemetery, and we are in Michigan. I have a feeling that Frank that I'm looking for probably doesn't have a tombstone. And if you look over here, this is kind of newer, and he died in 1921, I believe. Hi, Andy. Tell me if I come back, okay? I'm gonna try to switch over and see if I can do 2 apps at once. Work? Hopefully that worked. Okay, so since this is newer and it was 100 years ago, I'm gonna start over here. Now these trees look pretty old to me too. And usually the older places are in front. So I'm gonna start in the front. How you doing, Andy? You see me! Yay! Getting some exercise. So what are we here? 1988, 51, let's see. Now as I'm walking, I'm just kind of scanning for names, like a book. Yeah, these are newer, so this whole area must be new. Okay. 2008. We need to go back in time. Back in time. Some of the things here are really pretty too. If you like to walk in a cemetery, look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Hi, Dahlia. How are you doing, Dahlia? Isn't that pretty? Okay, so we need to go back 100 years. And this is how you go back in time in a cemetery. Okay, so now we've got the 20s. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for 1921. But I have a feeling he might not have a headstone because I did look him up. Hi, Soul. Hi, Dahlia. Thanks so much for coming in here. And he doesn't seem to have any family so far that I can find in like a 10-minute search or so. And he was single. And he died by getting hit by a train. 54. Okay. And usually like the front of your cemeteries will be the oldest ones. So you gotta find out where it started. Here we've got some 20s. Okay, I'm just kind of looking. The nice thing is there's like really big headstones to look. Hi, Soul. Hi, Logan. Logan's like, ugh, what is she doing in there? What is going on? Okay, we've got a 1928 Parker. And I'm gonna switch back and forth. Hopefully this works. And I'm looking for an Adams. A Frank Adams. 40s. And he was renting a house in this area in town. So I'm assuming if he's gonna have a headstone, it's gonna be a small one because he didn't own any land. And he wasn't married. So I'm looking for a small 20s headstone. 1920s. This is a Wilson. Hi, Noah. No. I wouldn't do that here in a cemetery. No way. My goodness. Okay, we've got some Kennedys. Those are older, but not the 20s. And if his parents lived here, they probably had a plot that he would have been put in. And plots are usually bought in sections of at least 2 plots. So, now I did find one over here. It was a little older that he might be in, so I'm gonna check with the county if I can't find it. Hi, Zavaya, how are you? Frank Adams, if anybody sees that, let me know. I'm gonna assume it's gonna be a small stone. But it could be in a family plot. Not sure if that's helping. Here we've got a stone. Thank you, Soul. We are on the hunt. I'm seeing some words like, yes, we're looking for a stone and we are on a hunt. Maybe that's a clue. I don't know. Okay, we've got the 50s, 40s. It's a big one. Isn't that neat? They've got a big stone. And then, I love this. Look at that. They're all in a row. Isn't that cool? And they all match. That's really neat. Look at that. Well, let's pick up their... I got a little flower here. Let's pick that up and put it back. There we go. Okay. Hi, Bud Files. Hi, Relax with Mel. How you doing, Mel? No, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a stone if it looks something like this, like really small. 1941. Now these are older. Early 1900s. It's not gonna be that old. That's fine, Mel. I hope you're having a good weekend. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate that. Okay, so here, this might have been like the original drive coming down here, I assume, just because there's a lot of old stones here. But I have a feeling he probably could not have afforded a tombstone. But if he had parents in the area, they would have bought one, I'm sure. So far, I have not found parents in the area. When they buried him, they didn't know any information about him other than he was being put here. We are trying to find a tombstone. There's no records, except for the record I'm finding with Michigan. And there's a Michigan record to show where he's been put. So I am looking. Now I know he's here, and just because there's no record at the township doesn't really mean much. Especially if they weren't, very wealthy and people didn't know him very well. Yes. Died in 1921, yes. Hi, Donna Lee. Hi, B-Ron. Look at this nice scenery, though. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's hard to believe people live right up to that cemetery. And actually, there's a drive that goes through here into somebody's house, which is interesting. This is actually somebody's driveway also. It's a shared drive. And I've never been to this cemetery before. So this is a new treat to me. And if my phone dies, I'm sorry. Let's see here. Okay, these are older. Oh, look at this one. They just put it. Wow, look at this. That is neat. And I assume these go over here. Usually they'll put another base there, but if they don't have family members that are still around, they probably wouldn't complain too much. But at least they put it down like that. That's a cool stone. I love looking at old stones. Aren't they pretty? How you doing, Donna? It is, yeah. It is a nice cemetery. A couple of the stones here have been hit by a lawnmower, but it looks like it's kept up pretty good. Probably one of the better ones I've been to. Look how pretty that is. Nice and peaceful here. Now this one needs a little bit more of a base. Boy. Okay, we are looking for an Adams. So I thought I'd just go live. And I'm going to be doing more of these lives. Looking for stones. Okay, we've got a shirk, a burgee. Okay, now here's some smaller ones. Don't look at my nails. We've got a Scott. Okay. Oh, just a baby. Yeah, aren't they pretty? Yes, Mr. Nobody, hi. Yeah, some of them are really big. Isn't that cool? There's some babies in here. Those are nice stones. Martins. There's an old stone. Look at that one. That is... Oh, is that a Martin? No. Not sure. Sometimes you can get these wet too. Now this one they just laid back down. I assume it was on a base there. And you can see, thyme, trees, lawnmowers, all that good stuff. Now if you complain to your local township, if that's like your relative, they'll usually fix that, or you can come in here and fix them yourself too. Paranormal, yeah, I thought about it. I thought about doing that. I think I would need 2 devices, but that would be interesting, right? We could turn this channel into a whole different thing. This one fell off. At least it's close by. Yeah. You know what, Donna? I've got some really weird stuff when I'm doing this kind of stuff. I've been volunteering for, I don't know, probably like... Oh, there's a way down there. Why would they put a way down there? I've been volunteering for probably, I don't know, around 15 years, maybe 10, 15. And sometimes I catch really strange stuff. Like one time I was taking a picture, and I went to take the picture, and I seen a little boy run across, and he had little suspenders on, like a cream shirt and light blue little shorts. And it startled me. And I put the camera down and I realized there was actually nobody there. That was really weird. And sometimes when you do take pictures, you see strange things. But the families probably aren't looking for strange things. Okay, so we've got, these are newer. 50s. These are really old. Yeah, I have a feeling that I'm not going to be able to find him. 30s. That's kind of the time frame. These things too always end up missing. It's sad. These little circle, the Civil War things. I'm sure they are. Yes, for sure. Because I seen it like plain as day. Like I thought a little boy was running in front of me and I put my camera down like, oh, come on, you know. And he was so cute. He was just running like he was playing. So we're back to the 50s. Here's some old ones. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna find him. I have a feeling he was too poor for a place. Now I did over here find Adams, and I'm assuming that they are family members. And I haven't seen any other Adams in here so far. So I thought I'd just kind of, you know what's really funny too, Donna, is sometimes you'll come through here and you pick up strange smells, you know? Like you'll be walking around and you pick up strange smells. $1907. I'm just kind of scanning here. We've got a craft. A lot of Dutch people in here. Got some Clarks. A shoe. Jones and Snyder. Okay, now we're to 1990. Yeah, strange smells. Not bad ones, you know, just you pick up something. So if I were to guess, I'm gonna guess he's probably, if this was his brother, and I'll have to do some more looking, because maybe he came over here with his brother. And I'm gonna assume from Canada or Pennsylvania. And I'm gonna assume these are relatives. That's my biggest guess. And if he's in here, I'm gonna guess it's like right here where there's no stone. Yes, yeah, Donna, for sure. I've got a lot of, I think I've claimed, let's see, over 150 volunteer photos for family members that are looking for their relatives' tombstones. And some of them are very strange. And usually I'll try to put both of them. I'll try to put like a normal picture like this. Like there's a normal picture. And I'll also attach the really strange one. And if I find different photos too, I'll try to attach those also so families can have those. Here's a really old stone, but I don't know, what does that say? Well, I don't think it's Adams. But that would be really old. I'm gonna assume that he's right here. Yeah, I'll definitely do some more searching. Because you know what really bugs me, Mr. Nobody, is when I can't find something, that irks me even more. Right? And so then I'll be on a mission all night long. Like, I will be on a mission to figure this out. And there's ways to search for free, too. Yeah, little kids? Yeah, they might be able to see something we don't. Like, you know, animals do sometimes. So far, this is the only Adams I've found. And I've been walking probably about an hour. And I thought I would test, and just if you wanted to know, you can go between the YouTube Live and the Find a Grave app. And it doesn't shut off your live, which is good if you just want a quick look at something, if you have a list of people you're looking for. It's funny because sometimes I do that and it's like I smell like a perfume or something strange, and then you walk a couple more feet and you just don't smell it anymore. Yes, I think so too, right, Mr. Nobody? I think so. I think he might be by that tree over there on the other side. And, you know, who knows? Because usually when people are buried, there's not a tree or it's really small. I'm going to assume that tree wasn't even there when that happened, because we're talking, you know, 100 years ago. But he could be on either side of the tree. The tree could be on top of him. The township, you know, has no records, but I have other records from the state that says he's here. But I was hoping the township would have like a plot or to show me where about or by who he's with. Sometimes I know if people that have a lot of money, they would just stick them in here. And sometimes not even tell anybody. I know my family did that. They would just stick them in, not tell anybody. But you could probably do that 100 years ago. And I'm sure you can't do that now. So, and here's some beams, and we're in some older area again here. I don't think I'm gonna find him, unfortunately. I'll do some more research and see if that's his brother. And I'll also call the township, and what I'll do is say, okay, what plot numbers are those people at? There's 3 there with the name Adams. And I'll see, I'm assuming that's like a child or something next to them. Yeah, the exact point, right? And, you know, maybe they just don't have records of who's in there. And also, I know from where I grew up, I can actually put myself in a plot of a family member. So you never know. There could be somebody on top of that other grave too. And you can move people around. So I don't think they would have done that in 1920. But I can see them putting somebody on top of someone, right? Thank you, Andy. I appreciate that. So, I figured I'd do some more of these little walkabouts. I'll probably do them in the mornings and try to find some find a graves and do some more volunteering now that it's getting a little bit cooler out. But my search is on. I'm gonna do a little bit of digging here when I get home. Was he in the World War II? Well, he died in the 20s. World War II was about 40s, 50s. So it was before that. And I did find a newspaper article that said that he was walking the train tracks and he was struck by a train track. And then they took him to a hospital in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And they had no idea his family members or anything. And then it just said that they put him in this cemetery. So I know he's here. And that was the state of Michigan records. And so we'll see, because this is a city cemetery. So it's interesting, right? You sometimes just gotta dig a little bit more and a little bit more. You know, have your list of resources and just keep on digging. And you know, back then too, there wasn't Facebook, but there was the newspaper, and the newspaper was like a Facebook. So the good thing is, if somebody has scanned that, you can kind of find some stories. That's pretty cool. I hope all of you have a good weekend, and wish me luck. Hopefully I can find him, or at least find where he's located. I'm gonna guess it's around this little tree somewhere. I hope you all have a really great weekend. Bye. And maybe not. We're gonna stay live forever and ever and ever. Look at that. It won't even click